What is up, everybody? My name is Eris, and I'll be your ferryman today, taking you guys back to the Forgotten City. So let's get right into it. So last time we had a little bit of a scuffle happen where Opus jumped. Well, we're about to go do the same. So let's just take care of it.
Thank you. Thank you. I am delighted and deeply honored to have been elected your magistrate.
So let's go talk to this dude.
Did you just leap into my villa from the balcony 100 feet above?
Yep.
That was either extremely reckless or impressively clever. Well,
Both.
why have you risked life and limb to see me?
What's your story?
I'm Malleolus, and if it wasn't for this interruption, I'd be practicing my victory speech for the election later today.
What will you do if you win?
I'm glad you asked. I'll finally restore freedom to this city, just as I've been promising. These good people have suffered long enough under Sentius's tyranny.
How will you do
By
that?
declaring there's no such thing as the Golden Rule. It's a children's fable exploited by Sentius to frighten us into submission. Wait, don't tell me you've fallen victim to that monstrous lie?
Golden Rule's definitely real.
Nonsense. There's no way you can prove that. If it was real and you'd seen someone break it, then you'd be dead already.
I'm reliving the same day over and over again. The Golden Rule is broken each time.
What? Oh, I see what's happening here. Another poor, vulnerable soul taken in by Sentius's machinations. He won't get away with this much longer.
Okay. What would take it to prove to you it's real? Books? Notes?
Surely, you're not one of those people who believes everything you read. As if a lie could be transformed into the truth by the simple act of writing it down.
Bro, this is why the library burned. Even if I can't prove it if I am right, then accepting it will be avert disaster. If I'm wrong, then accepting it will make the city a better place. Isn't that a good thing?
I disagree. I'll be guided by what is best for the city's people, and that means giving them the freedom to do as they wish.
Freedom's not always the best, honestly. Especially when the freedom is freedom to steal and murder, bro. I can see nothing I say is gonna convince you.
But that is simply because you are mistaken.
You know a way out of here?
I'm afraid not. We're stuck down here together, for better or worse. We're all going to have to make the best of it.
What do you think about the Golden Rule?
You mean the children's fable exploited by Sentius to scare us all into doing what he wants?
Yes, that. I'll be
I
going.
trust you can see yourself out.
No, I want to meet your wife, though.
Through the door this time? There's a key just beside it.
I'm gonna go meet your wife, though. So let's take the key. Let's take that.
Deeply honored.
I want to live in a villa. This is really freaking cool. Oh, hi. Oh, you look
I'm not
distraught.
supposed to be in here.
Can we talk?
Talk. What business could you possibly have with me?
Why are you locked in this
My
room?
marital affairs are no concern of yours. Thank you very much.
What's your
I
story?
think a better question is, why am I being interrogated by a stranger who just barged into my villa? I have quite enough marriage trouble already, without having to explain to my husband why I'm
I'd love to
receiving
hear it.
strange women in private.
Do you know a way out of here?
Preferably the way you came in.
I can't, I
By
fell.
which I mean, please leave.
What do you know about the Golden
I
Rule?
think it's about to be broken if you don't hurry up.
I'll break the rule
Leave.
right here, right now, baby. I'm not afraid of it. Frick, I'm
Fine.
afraid of it, apparently.
This is outrageous.
Okay, so we saved Ulia this day. Opus jumped, causing that. Go out this way. Now we have a key forever. Because if it's in our inventory, it stays in our inventory. I'm gonna go talk to Sentia real quick. This is what I don't understand about front doors. They're missing a wall. Hi.
Another one fresh out of the baths, I take it. Ugh, I wish Horatius would stop letting barbarians in here. What do you want?
Can we talk about Sentilla?
Oh, you heard about her disappearance, I take it.
I found a letter in her
Really?
room. Mentions her
I
escape.
swear, I searched her room top to bottom and never saw that.
We have to have a lot of conversations over and over again, by the way.
Strange, but well done,
For things
I
to make
suppose.
sense.
But it's odd. It was only a few months ago that Sentilla's friend Yulia let slip she was planning an escape of her own. And yet, Yulia's still here. You should go and speak with her. Find out if she knows anything. She lives in the villa next door.
That's why I saved Ulia. Talk to her.
Look, you're back. How lucky for me. What is it now?
Talk about Scintilla.
Oh, heard about her disappearance, I take it.
This part's not gonna change. I know who she was seeing is Opus.
Oh,
Opius.
really? That commoner in debt bondage next door thought he could win over a magistrate's daughter. That's awfully bold of him. I can see why she worked so hard to keep it a secret. Quick, go and find him and ask him what he knows.
Well, I've spoken to him already. He's beside himself about her disappearance. I don't think he's responsible.
Oh, I see. Well, it was worth a try, I suppose. Just promise me you won't give up on her.
Alright, I promise.
Thank you.
Okay. Now we gotta go talk to Ulia. The more you keep people in, I suppose technically you don't have to talk to them every single time. If you think you're about to get an ending, it's wise because it could affect the ending and the conversations you can have in them. But I want to talk to Priestess.
Temple majestic. A new face. Ave, and may Vesta watch over you. I'm Equitia. To what do I owe the pleasure of this visit?
What's your story?
Oh my. I take it people are quite direct where you're from. I suppose it's quite charming in its own way. Usually, however, you wouldn't simply march up to a Vestal priestess and without due formality or courtesy ask, "What is your story?"
I like it though. I'm sorry, what should I have done?
The proper approach would be to arrange an introduction through a mutual acquaintance in high office, by which time you would already know how to address me. And then you would find a way to satisfy your curiosity rather more indirectly. But to be honest, I've often thought what an unnecessarily formal way to communicate that is. So, let's do it your way. You just keep being yourself and ask whatever you like. It'll be a refreshing change.
How did you end up here?
You know, I'm not entirely sure. But what about you? How did you end up here?
A young woman named Karen dragged me out of a river unconscious and sent me in here.
Karen, you say? And nothing about that name seemed odd to you?
An older name, but not uncommon where I'm from.
Older. I see. I wonder if... No.
What were you going to say?
I apologize. I don't mean to be cryptic. It's just that you've got me thinking. Have you spoken with any of the others about how they arrived here too? I really think you should. Go around and ask them what they remember and see if you notice any patterns.
Right, I'll do that.
Good. Thank you. But please be careful. I just don't want to see what happened to Livia happen to you too.
I'll be careful.
Thank you. Now, go and follow the thread of truth through this labyrinth and come back to me if you discover any patterns.
I'll get right on it.
Come back to me once you've acquainted yourself with the rest of our neighbors.
Okay. There she is, I think. Are you? No. Yes? No. I don't
Name's
know.
Rufus.
Rufus, darn.
watch your
Wrong
step.
is. What's your story?
Can't talk long. Got to stay sharp, but family's from Seleucia on Tigris, Babylon province. But I've been roaming a long time now. Even joined the legions. The 6th. The one they call Ironclads.
How did you end up
Same
here?
way as everyone else.
Well, he was a terrible person to ask. Why are you still wearing your legionary armor?
Because we're all in grave danger. Is it not obvious?
Not much of a talker, are you?
If you were dealing with what I am, you wouldn't be either.
That's fair. What are you doing with?
None of your business. In Troiti ipsam commensura.
Talk about something else.
We have to.
I'll be going now. Okay. So let's go in here.
Welcome to my humble store. Greetings. I'm Georgius. It gladdens me to see another foreigner in our midst. We must stick together, you and I. And I must say, my sartorial friend, your clothing is most extraordinary. Leather boots in place of sandals, trousers with precise stitching, and such a curious design. I have traveled distant trade routes from the markets of Damascus to the farms of India, and never have I seen anyone dressed quite like you. Tell me, I must know. From which exotic part of the world do you hail?
Somewhere that's been unexplored. I'm from beyond the edge of the known world.
Then you are an explorer, like me. Wonderful. You must have many stories to share. I cannot wait to hear them. We will have much time here to get to know one another. But for now, do you require assistance? I know you do not require clothing, so information perhaps?
What's your story?
My story? How kind of you to ask. I am a tailor and I run the humble shop in the forum.
How did you end up
A
here?
good question. A very good question indeed. And I would be happy to tell you if only I could remember it clearly myself.
Why don't you tell me what you do remember?
I remember I had just been to Rome to sell an extraordinary selection of wares, and drowning in coin, I decided to celebrate my success. I rented a prestigious villa by the Tiber, invited over a few select friends, and we began making our way through some of the most exquisite wine money could buy. Quite a lot of it, in fact. Now, I have had visions and awoken in strange places before. I have even found myself naked in the desert sands more than once, but none of that compares to this. This time, I remember people screaming, then falling into a void as empty as time before creation, gasping for air, and then nothing. When I regained my faculties, I was lying naked by the banks of the Tiber, gods know how many miles from my villa.
So you floated down the river.
Indeed. I'm lucky I was carrying a little extra weight. I believe it kept me afloat. In any case, it seems I'd been rescued and resuscitated by a benevolent stranger. I went to find firewood for his campfire, stumbled across a cave, and discovered that trapdoor temple. And here I am.
Okay.
Anything you like.
I'll be
I hope
going
that our
now.
paths cross again soon, my friend.
Okay. Virgil. Let's translate sinner. This is the perk that archaeologist gives you. That you can translate the Roman text.
Ah, a new face. Salve, and welcome to a little community. My name's impossible to pronounce for most people, so you can just call me Virgil. I hear we have you to thank for saving Julia's life. I'm glad you arrived when you did.
What's your story?
Well, I'm an architect. Or at least I was back in Rome. That's probably too grandiose a term to describe what I do here. Help out with repairs and try to stop old buildings from collapsing on people. That kind of thing. But you probably don't want to hear about the ingenious architecture or mysterious history of this place.
Tell me about the city's history.
Oh, I'm glad you asked. Some of these shrines were constructed hundreds of years ago, which means Romans have been arriving here for at least that long. But there's one thing that puzzles me. The oldest shrine in this avenue isn't Roman at all. It's Greek.
Isn't it common for Romans to copy Greek art and architecture?
Well, yes, that could be the reason. Or it could mean that there were Greeks living and worshipping here before the Romans arrived. Which begs the interesting question, who really built this place? And could it be far older than any of us imagine? If only there was a way we could talk to the people who came here before us. The stories they could tell.
Tell me about the city's architecture.
Gladly. Personally, my favorite thing about this place is the aqueducts. Those series of adjoining arches. They're an ingenious feat of Roman engineering with a very practical purpose. They take fresh water coming from outside the city and distribute it all across the chasm. It's funneled below the palace and into a cistern beneath the great temple. Some of it flows down into another cistern beneath the villas, and the rest is funneled to the shrine of Proserpina, where it fills the lake, and allows us to fish and farm.
If they bring water into the city, could we use them to escape?
Hey, not so loud. Just talking about that could anger the gods for all we know. I'm not saying it's impossible, but you'd have to find a way inside somehow. Just, please, try to be a bit more discreet about it.
Tell me about the temple up on the bluff.
You mean the Great Temple? This one's a bit of a mystery. Given the way it's positioned so prominently, looking down on us, it's clear that whoever built it felt it was the most important temple in the city. Unfortunately, someone else went out of their way to keep its purpose a mystery. You see, usually a temple is dedicated to a particular god, like Proserpina or Diana or Apollo. Usually, that god is obvious. But in this case, it's unknown. There's an obelisk out the front, which probably used to bear the name of this unknown god. But it appears some barbarian defaced it. And of course we can't get inside because it's locked up tighter than the Temple of Saturn in Rome. And that contains the treasury. So we're all left wondering, which god is that temple dedicated to? And could it be the one responsible for the Golden Rule? Unless somebody figures out a way inside, I suppose we'll never know.
Talk about something else.
Of course.
I noticed graffiti. Why does someone think you're a sinner?
Look, I haven't done anything wrong, if that's what you're thinking. Somebody just has a problem with my preference for male company.
I see.
And when you grow up in the north, as I did, in the city of Noviomagus, you expect a bit of hostility. The Batavi are not known for their tolerance. I saw enough friends killed or driven away to know the cost of not keeping your personal affairs to yourself. So I hid who I was for, what was it, nearly 10 years? Watching what I said and where I looked. But that kind of fear eats away at you slowly, until living isn't any better than the thing you were afraid of. Needless to say, since I'm now living underground, halfway across the known world with an assumed name, my openness didn't go down well among the enlightened folk of the Batavi.
I'm sorry to hear
Nice of
that.
you to say, but not necessary. In any case, the Romans are far more accepting, and among them, I get to be who I am. Or at least I thought that was the case. It seems I was wrong.
You know who's writing the graffiti?
It's not just graffiti. I have quite a collection of handwritten notes too. The strange thing is, I keep my personal affairs to myself. I've never really been interested in any of the men here. Not my type. So I'm not sure what I could have done to upset this person. If I had to guess, I'd say it's probably one of those cultists.
Cultist.
Strange bunch. They insist there's only one god, and that he considers my nature a sin. Can you believe that? If there are any of them here, they won't admit it. Not since they supposedly burnt down half of Rome last year and went into hiding. All I know is, if these threats keep escalating, eventually my secret admirer is going to cross a line and break the Golden Rule.
Let me look into it for you.
What? Really? I didn't expect that. But thanks. It's always a pleasure to meet someone so selfless. I'm glad you arrived when you did. I'd start by figuring out who the cultists are. Or maybe ask around among the merchants here. Someone who lives or works in the forum must have seen something. But if you find them, please don't hurt or humiliate them. I suspect they're just confused.
I'll get right on it.
Come back and let me know what you find.
First, is this the same day? Nope, it's a different day. Okay.
Help! You have to do something! A man arrived in the baths. A real nasty sort, with his face all covered up. And he's got a weapon. You have to do something, or he's gonna break the Golden Rule.
I'll see what I can do.
Thank you. He's still in there, somewhere. I have to hide. Find me in this empty shrine when it's over.
No. Do not go in there.
What? Why?
Just trust me.
All right, fine. Come and find me in my bakery instead. Please be careful.
Yep, let's go take care of this dude. I got a lot of things going on that I am absolutely ignoring. Hi, friend.
Stop
Solve
right
it.
there. I'm looking for Tiberius Quinctius Crispus, otherwise known as Quinctius. Do you know where he is?
I don't know Quintius.
I'm not sure I believe that, so allow me to explain
I want to
something.
figure out his...
Now tell me, who are you people, and what is this place?
why don't you put that bow down and come in and see for yourself?
Oh, how very welcoming of you. You want me to let my guard down, is that it? You're not going to get your
We don't
claws
have
into
weapons
me.
here, my dude.
I was told Quinctius was a cultist, but I never thought he'd be foolish enough to lead me right to the heart of his mystery cult.
We can leave if we
You're a
want.
terrible liar, so none of you are allowed to leave. Fascinating. That sounds an awful lot.
He's gonna try to
And
kill
I
me
saw
again.
the inscription saying, "The many shall suffer for the sins of the one." I take it this is some kind of mantra you all believe?
No.
Another lie.
Mother frick!
So you really do believe that? Fascinating. You've clearly been indoctrinated into this nonsense. Now tell me, where did
Those people.
you lot are practicing human sacrifice to keep people disgusted?
Okay. You're distorting what I said.
Yes, because I'm the real villain.
You are. You're the only one with
It's
a weapon
all clear
here.
to me now. The secret sanctuary, the indoctrination, the mantra, the human sacrifice. You're cultists. There's no doubt in my mind. What
Mother
baffles me is how a person can believe in something with such zeal. They just can't see what they've become. However, you still have a chance to redeem yourself.
Motherfucker, thank you.
by
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
where Quintus
Thank you.
is. Do not waste it.
Actually, what can you tell me about Quintus?
Very well. Here's what I know. He's a 40 to 50-year-old man
That's what I
with
was looking for.
distinctive eyes, one green and one blue. He's also known to have delusions of grandeur. The Emperor says he and his cult, your cult, are responsible for starting the fire which burnt half of Rome to the ground and killed thousands in the process.
Perhaps the Emperor is looking for a scapegoat.
Who are you to challenge what the Emperor says?
He's not my
Were you
Emperor.
there? Do you have spies and scouts all over Rome like he does? No, you do not.
How do you know?
This is your last chance. Are you going to tell me where he is or not?
Yeah, I know where he is.
Suddenly it's all coming back to you. Is
No,
it?
I've known this entire time. I just wanted this conversation. Yeah, I saw him worshiping in the small round shrine just inside the city, second building on your left.
Thank you. For your service to the Empire, I'll let you live for now.
Thank
but
you.
You'd best make sure our paths don't cross again.
Okay, I want this guy. I want his bow. Can I light these? No. I think that's the oldest shrine in the town. Warning.
Curse you!
Shrine may
cultist.
collapse. Then take that. Let's search him. I want this. Bounty. I'm gonna take that. Take that and take that. Cool. I have 1 coin. Okay. Let's go talk to what's his face in his villa. Find Quintius, the man with 1 green eye and 1 blue eye. We can do that. Where did I find him? Hi, buddy. Let's go talk to your wife. Now that I've already upset her.
Why are you still here?
Frick. I don't have any new lines from her. That's fine. I don't have any new lines from her. Okay. I'm back.
You again. What is it now?
So you're Quintius.
My name is Marcus Malleolus Gurgis. You seem to have confused me with someone else.
You have 1 green eye and 1 blue eye, just like the description in this execution order from Emperor Nero.
You mean my heterochromia? I am guilty of nothing more than having different colored eyes. And I'm hardly the only person with the condition. Alexander the Great had it too, as it happens. I like to think it is simply the way the gods have chosen to mark a natural-born ruler. Nothing more.
Apparently Quintius also suffers from delusions of grandeur.
Well, I am not suffering from any delusions, as today's election will firmly establish.
I can't prove it yet, but I will.
Unlikely, because it simply isn't true. Now, was there something else you wanted?
I'll be
I
going.
trust you can see yourself out. Through the door this time? There's a key.
No,
just
thank you.
beside it.
I have a few more things I want to do. I like your manner. I'm gonna start your villa. I'm gonna just take a look around a little bit. Like, you got some really cool art here and things like that. Man, if I ever have a house, I'm gonna have pedestals with cool vases on them.
Why are you still here?
How would you like help getting back at Malleolus?
An intriguing proposition. Go on.
I don't think Malleolus is who he says he is.
Perhaps you're not as silly as those clothes make you look.
Rude.
What makes you say that?
Just a hunch. I'm hoping we can figure out his true identity together.
I may have the very thing you're looking for. Some time ago, when he still cared for me, he wrote me a love letter. Only he used the wrong name. Now, addressing one's wife by the wrong name is not unheard of among philandering Romans. But in this case, the name he got wrong was his own. I confronted him about it, and he stammered through some incoherent response. I let it go, eventually, and yet questions have lingered in the back of my mind ever since. But wait a minute. Why exactly are you helping me?
We women have to stick together.
I couldn't agree more. One hand washes the other, as they say. It seems our interests are aligned. I imagine knowing his true identity will give me the leverage I need to manage him appropriately. But first, I need you to do something for me.
What do you want?
I want you to bring me some wine. Just one small urn should do it. Oh, don't look at me like that. I know this must be hard for you to wrap your sweet little pleb head around. So what do you need me to spell out?
I actually don't have any questions.
So you'll help me?
Yeah, I'll get you some wine.
Excellent. Now, you'll need to pay a visit to that strumpet Aurelia in her tavern. I expect you'll have to flatter her a bit. If that doesn't work, you might be able to get some advice from Yulia, who's probably still at the shrine of Apollo. I heard they used to be close. They both appreciate the poetry of Sappho of Lesbos, if you get my meaning.
Ooh, I'll get right on that. Ooh, Sappho. It's glorious. Okay, we gotta go talk to Ulia anyway, so let's just go hit a bunch of conversations done with her. And then we can go to the tavern to get some wine. However, we're gonna be going a little extra long. Hi, Ulia.
Oh, it's you. Sorry, I'm still a bit out of it. But thanks for trying to help me, I suppose. Was there something you wanted? Lucretia says I'm supposed to rest.
You know anything about Scintilla's disappearance?
No. I did hear from Ulpius that she disappeared. It's very sad. She was such a lovely young woman. But I'd been locked in Malleolus's villa for months before she went missing, so I can't help you, I'm afraid.
Cynthia mentioned you were trying to escape a few months ago.
I was. And look where it got me.
What happened?
I can tell you, but it's a long story.
I have all the time in the world.
All right. I'd been here about a week when it dawned on me I'd be trapped here for the rest of my life. I could hardly breathe, and I knew I had to get out somehow. So when my new friend Aurelia offered me a secret way out, I would have done anything. And then I learned her asking price. 1,000 denarii. She was supposed to be my friend. I told her it would take me years to save up that much. So she suggested I take out a loan from Malleolus. And I did.
Why would you thinking you'd be out of here before you ever had to pay back the loan?
I'm not proud of it, but yes, I was surprised he agreed to it, to be honest. But I was so happy to have the money I didn't question it. I had to sign an agreement saying I'd work off the debt over 30 years. But I figured I'd be out of here so soon it wouldn't matter. I paid Aurelia, and she gave me her so-called way out. Do you want to know what it was? Hemlock.
Oh no, hemlock is a
Drink
poison.
This, she said, and you'll be out of here in no time. Of course, I demanded my money back, but she refused. She pointed to a sign on her tavern saying, "Let the buyer beware." Then she just looked at me with those cruel black eyes, and she laughed. She immediately told Malleolus I'd tried to escape without paying him back. Only, he didn't seem upset or surprised at all. In fact, he just thanked her. And that's when I realized the two of them had planned the whole thing from the beginning.
Surely that would have broken the golden rule.
That's what I said to the magistrate. I went to Sentius and begged for help, but he said the law was clear. I'd signed over my labor for 30 years and there was nothing he could do. I thought about resisting too. But Malleolus said if I didn't submit, I'd break the golden rule. And I couldn't be responsible for all those deaths.
He doesn't even believe in the golden
He
rule.
locked me in his villa. confiscated everything I owned as collateral and made me wear immodest, humiliating outfits while I worked day in, day out. His wife, Claudia, was just as bad. She set me to work on an endless stream of futile, demeaning tasks. I'd be on my hands and knees, scrubbing the floor clean for hours, only for her to pour slop on it and hiss, "You missed a spot." Those two took everything from me. But they forgot to confiscate one thing. My hemlock.
So you poisoned yourself.
I just wanted it to be over, but it seems I messed that up too. Should have drunk all of it.
I'm so sorry to hear that.
I brought it on myself. I trusted one of the most callous human beings I've ever met, and tried to swindle the other. I don't know how I could have been so stupid.
What will happen to you now?
When I've recovered, I expect their thug Domitius will come for me. He'll escort me back to their villa, and I'll be right back where I started. Only this time, I won't be able to lull myself to sleep at night with the thought of a permanent solution. Honestly, it would have been better if the poison had been allowed to run its course.
That's interesting. I'm sorry, is there anything I can do to help?
It seems this is the fate the gods have chosen for me, for trying to escape. At least until someone breaks the golden rule. Maybe it wouldn't be so bad.
How much would it cost to buy your
A
freedom?
lot. But it doesn't matter. I made a suicide pact with Ulpius last night. He's in exactly the same position as I am. Malleolus
He was successful.
and Aurelius set the same trap for him a month after they did it to me. He and I are in this together. He's probably already thrown himself from the bluff into Malleolus's villa by now. If so, I'd never be able to live with myself, knowing I broke my promise to him.
Perhaps I can help him too.
I doubt you could make it up to the bluff in time. I don't know who you are, or why you seem so determined to help me, but thank you.
I'll see what I can do.
All right, but please don't take too long.
What's your story?
You mean my life story? Oh, well, I grew up as part of a big family in Rome. Me and 3 older sisters. Our father found good husbands for my sisters, but I wasn't cut out for that kind of life. So he found me a job as a scribe for a prominent merchant. It was a good life for a while. Until 7 months ago when the fires came. My colleagues and I worked desperately to try to protect our warehouse. We must have had 100 workers passing buckets of water, chanting prayers to Vulcan, but they fell on deaf ears. The fire was relentless and it claimed everything and everyone. Well, almost everyone. My employer told me to grab what valuables I could and flee for the Tiber with the crowds. I remember diving into the river and then... the next thing I knew, I was waking up on the riverbank not far from here.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Thank you. But to be honest, sometimes I think dying in that fire might have been a blessing, given what's happened since.
I understand. I'll be going now.
Thank you again for saving my life.
Okay, let's go talk to the priest. And then we're gonna wrap up from there. This is her villa, by the way.
Ave again. Did you find what you need?
I've been asking people about how they wound up here.
Did you notice anything? A pattern?
Some people mentioned a river.
Yes. I understand many of our friends were carried here by a river current. What else?
All I noticed.
There are definitely some common threads there.
All my characters
I think
noticed.
we'll need at least a few to ensure we're not just seeing coincidences. Keep asking people how they wound up here.
Okay.
I don't want us to rush to any conclusions yet. Livia's fate weighs heavily on my mind and dictates we should be sure. Yes, you should ask the others first.
I'll be going.
Come back to me once you've acquainted yourself with the rest of our neighbors.
Well, that was the Forgotten City. If you guys enjoyed that video, slap that like button. If you guys want more content from me, subscribe. And until next time, be good, behave, stay out of trouble, and or don't get caught. And I'll catch you guys in the next video. Bye!